Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday morning. I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration. I run a boutique immigration law firm, and welcome to another edition of Beyond the Soundbite, where we talk about all things U.S. immigration. So the first thing I want to talk to you about this Monday morning are the validity of green cards. So we know that right now USCIS is taking quite a while to renew green cards. And by renew green cards, I don't mean process your original green card application, or if you're removing the conditions on your green card application. I'm talking about instances where your green card, your physical green card, is or has expired and you have applied for a new one. So if you have filled out the form I-90, we know that those applications are taking quite a while. CIS knows that those applications are taking quite a while. So what they have recently done is they have automatically extended the validity of your green card from 24 months to now 36 months when you are renewing. So be on the lookout if you are about to file your receipt notice. Should indicate that your current green card, the one which you have in your possession, which is about to expire, will be valid for another 36 months. So this is essentially giving USCIS a little bit more cushion in order to get through this backlog, but it also gives you sort of peace of mind that you're that you have something that shows that you are in fact a green card holder. You can take that to the Department of Motor Vehicles, get your license renewed. So it really just kind of helps you keep moving and grooving. So those green cards the automatic extension of their validity will be 36 months. So that is good news. If you are at all dealing with NVC and the SEAC system, you know that it is a very, very sensitive online system and that it is prone to error messages. So this latest round of error messages, NVC knows about it. They have indicated that they were doing something on the back end of the system. They had some sort of what they called a deployment very recently on September 19th, or I think it was September 18th, they had the deployment. And they realized that whatever they had done on the back end was causing error messages on the front end for the users. So they have said that they've had that cleared up. So if you are still getting error messages, try to clear your cache, log in, log out, clear your history, clear your cookies, clear all the things. Is what I would try to do. The other thing that I have done in the past when I have gotten error messages is I've tried to use different browsers. Sometimes this works, sometimes it hasn't. But in any event, NVC has said that this latest kind of round of error messages that people were receiving was because they did a deployment on the back end of the system. They have that all fixed now. So according to them, we shouldn't be getting error messages. So that's what we have on SEAC right now. But again, we all know that SEAC is a very, very sensitive system. The next thing I want to talk to you about, which I think people will be pretty excited about, is Department of State, who's over the passports, has said for U.S. passport renewal, it can now be done online for certain individuals. So I'm going to run through the requirements in a minute, but it is for U.S. passport renewal. So if you're applying for a new passport, this is not for you. And it's not for you if you don't meet all these criteria. Now, these criteria are, in fact, on their website, but I'm going to go through them pretty quickly with you this morning because I think this is a pretty cool thing that we now have the option of taking advantage of if we do so choose. So you need to be renewing a passport that was originally valid for 10 years. And you must be 25 years or older. Second, the passport that you are renewing must have been issued between 2009 and 2015. You cannot be requesting with your renewal passport, you cannot be requesting a name change a change of your gender, a change in your date of birth, or a change in your place of birth. So essentially, you can't be requesting any changes through the online system, right? So no changes to name, gender, date of birth, or place of birth with this renewal application online. You also should not be traveling for at least 8 weeks from the day that you submit your online application. The online system is only for regular processing times. If you need something expedited, if you are traveling tomorrow or you're traveling in 2 weeks, the online passport renewal is not for you. You should go through the regular channels. And you can, if you need an expedite, you can always make an appointment for that. But the online system is not for you if you are traveling within 8 weeks. Okay. You must be applying or getting, renewing a regular passport. So if it's a diplomatic or official passport, you cannot use the online system. You can use the online system if you live in the United States, either a state or a territory. You do not qualify for the online renewal of your passport if you are using an APO or an FPO address. That is very, very important to understand. Also, you must be in possession of your passport. It must not be damaged or mutilated, and you can't have ever reported it lost or stolen. You will need to keep your most recent passport, the one that you are trying to renew. You don't have to mail it in, but you must have it. Now, if you have it and at some point you reported it lost or stolen and then you later found it, the way that I read these rules, you are not eligible for online renewal. You must be able to pay online using a credit card or a debit card. You must be able to upload a digital photo. So if online things are not your jam, if, taking your photo and then uploading it, you don't have that capability or you don't have someone to help you with that capability, the online system is not for you. And that's fine. You can still mail it in. You can still make an appointment. And be aware, and I think this is probably one of the most important things, be aware that when you submit your application, Department of State is going to cancel your current passport. So you will not be able to use it for international travel. So I am recommending that people who want to take advantage of this understand that they don't have any international travel planned, and that they will not be able to use their current passport for international travel. You can still use it for identification purposes and those sorts of things, but you cannot use it to, get on a plane and go out of the country. So that is, I think, like, really good news, y'all. I think it's good news that we can, if you like doing things online, if you are strapped for time, if you don't like going to the post office, if you don't have a post office that's particularly close to you, whatever the reason, if, I don't know, maybe you're on crutches and just getting out and about is difficult right now. We now have another option to renew our passports. So we can, and it's only for renewals, y'all. It is not for your initial passport, only for renewals. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is really a hiring myth that I get asked quite a bit. So I often get calls from people that say, hey, I'd like to hire this individual. They're not a US citizen. I have advertised for the position. I can't find anybody. I can send you all of, the advertising that I've done and all the posts that I've done online. And I know that I have to show that I can't hire, that I can't find anybody, that I can't find a United States citizen. And so the first thing I tell them is that's, it is a myth that in order to hire someone that's not a US citizen, you must advertise and look for a qualified US citizen. That is a myth. For in the majority of cases, we don't have to show that you have looked for other people who meet your requirements to hire. Now, the fact that you have is great, right? but you do not have to. Advertising is required for some, but not all employment-based green cards. So again, some, but not all. But if you're hiring someone with a non-immigrant visa, an HLO, that sort of thing, there is no requirement that we show that you have one, advertised and looked for anybody for the position, two, that you have advertised and specifically looked for qualified US citizens or current green card holders. That is not a requirement in most instances. But again, when you want to apply for a green card for that employee, then some of the green card categories require that you show that you have looked for qualified US citizens, but not all green card categories require that. So just keep that in mind. That is something that I hear often, and that is something that sometimes will cause people to pass on what they believe is the exact right candidate for a specific role. So if that at all is kind of confusing to you, feel free to reach out to my office. We're happy to have that conversation with you. So y'all, that's all I have for this Monday morning. So again, if you have any questions on how to hire somebody, who's not a US citizen, or you're getting married to someone who's not a US citizen, feel free to reach out. Happy to work with you, and have a wonderful Monday morning and a great rest of your